I mean, I'm in the business of providing nurses who don't really know me exactly. They're not going to say,
Wait.
okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be $40,000 short on payroll.
Oh
And so I'm like, oh no. And my family doesn't have the money. I ended up, so I called my payroll company and I told them what's going to happen. And they go, we'll give you the money.
What's it like to be a landlord in this storm?
It's been good.
What?
Yeah, I know. I got lucky. Well, I mean, in some regards, I moved out of the space, and the two of the offices went super fast because people want to get out of their house.
Oh.
I was
Because your space was a standalone office, one person could work on it, or it could
Yeah.
be, okay.
Yeah. And then my other tenant's been very reasonable. And, I have a poker club that moved in downstairs just before the pandemic, and they haven't been able to really, but they've been paying the rent. So I've been lucky. The Pilates studio's been working with me a little bit, and she's done a nice job, and I've reduced her rent a little bit. Not much, but enough.
You got to help out because that business is totally effective.
I get it.
Yeah, so a poker club, like what's that?
So they're always downstairs. See, they took 2 rooms in the basement, which they play poker. So they just play poker. Yeah.
Huh.
So
Good for them.
And then I had a psychologist move in just before the pandemic.
Adjacent to the poker players.
Yeah. And actually she deals with addiction. But she's been unbelievable, and she really fixed her place up, and she took the vault that I had downstairs and converted it into a waiting room. And she found this little niche for me for downstairs, which is psychologists, because of the waiting room, I now can charge pretty reasonable rent.
Oh.
And so I think I have a nice find for that downstairs, which tended to be a little, with the psychologist, tended to be a little bit of a challenge with the lower level. Yeah.
So tell me about your contemporaries, other landlords. Is the same story?
I don't really know. I mean, I have a close friend in my EO group who owns a very, very large building in Birmingham. Not Birmingham. Upstate New York, Binghamton.
Binghamton, yeah.
Huge apartment building for college students, and he's 55% not rented right now, when he's usually 95% rented, because the people are holding off. So he's a really smart guy. So I think he has his bank on interest-only payments right now, and then he owns another building in Queens, and that's on interest only. So you just kind of work with it. And you got
to be fluid.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't understand that a landlord is a business owner, and I think there's this perversion in perception. It's like, oh, Steve owns a building, he's got all his ducks in a row. The guy's a millionaire or a billionaire. If I don't pay rent, he's fine. I think that's what many entrepreneurs think. And then they look at themselves and say, but I got a real business. I have to support myself. So I see a lot of landlords getting screwed in my mind, but I don't know if it's really happening. I just thought that would be.
No, you're right. And thank you for paying your rent on time and the full amount. I do appreciate it. When I have to have those conversations with tenants, I make sure they're aware that I have a mortgage on the building, and I have taxes that I have to pay. So I educate them on that stuff. I say, listen, you have to understand, I have mortgage, I got taxes, I pay for utilities in some of the spaces. I say is I have to pay my bills, and so, and I said, but what can we do going forward? Let's talk about it. I mean, it's a small building. Because I was there too, I get to know my tenants really, really well. Yeah. So it's a little more personal, which can be a good thing and a bad thing. I mean, the problem is like I could be very, very reasonable with people. Like I get to know them. So like if a guy's business fails, I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to take them to court anyway, And so I'm like, okay, just I'll keep your security deposit and you can move out. Or, and I've done that a lot where I'll say like, all right, pay me half a month's rent. And in the meantime, I'm going to start showing your space.
Right.
So that's kind of where we are.
Yeah, it's been a great experience for us. I want to talk about your business, but before that, I think a lot of businesses are formed from childhood. And you sounds like you've had kind of a tough childhood. I don't really know much about it. Picked on, bullied. Where'd you go to school? Where'd you grow up?
I went to Watchung Hills Regional High School in New Jersey. Yeah.
Why were you picked on?
I let people get away with it. It's hard to believe because, Mike, I'm not a small guy.
I wouldn't F with you, dude.
I know. Well, I don't know. You're tough.
I know.
I mean, but listen, but at this point, I'd go after you. But what happened was I was always been a big guy.
Yeah.
And what happened was up into fifth grade, I sound silly, but up to fifth grade, I used to be a bully, and
You used to be a bully?
Yes. Okay. And I would pick on kids. And then one of the kids came up to me and said, you get in a lot of fights, and if you keep doing that, you're not going to get any friends. And so I had this crazy notion in my head. So I stopped getting in fights. I stopped doing that. And then all of a sudden, between sixth grade and junior year in high school, people found out that they could pick on me and I wouldn't respond. Oh. And it was terrible. And then in my senior year, once I got into college, I said, and I really got picked on. I really got, people, it's terrible stories.
Kids are vicious.
They're really vicious, really terrible story. And I'm a really good-hearted person.
Yeah.
And so by the time I was a senior in high school, I said, I am never, ever going to let anybody do that to me again.
Yeah.
And at the next couple years, 10 years, I went to the extreme where I was like, if you're going to piss on me, I'm coming at you.
Yeah.
And, I'm a fiery guy. And what I needed, I'm going to be honest with you, what I needed was a big brother who said, hey, what are you doing? Because my father, a great guy, but my father worked 2 jobs his whole life. He was a professional musician, and he worked during the day, and a great guy. But he didn't know what was going on. I was good at keeping a secret, and it went on for a really long period of time.
Okay. Did that form so right now you offer credit financing for small business. Does your lineage, but your experience as a kid growing up, does that define why you're in this business or how you serve clients or how you serve? Nothing. It has nothing to do with it.
I'll tell you what, one of the reasons why I'm passionate about so right now I have 4 companies that I own.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lay them out. What are the 4?
Financing Solutions is a $25 million company. We provide lines of credit to businesses, small businesses and nonprofits.
Okay.
Then we have, I own Elite Funeral Funding. It buys life insurance policies. I have somebody running it for me. Again, I have a partner that's my business partner in both of these businesses. And then we have 2 ladies who are partners in that business, and they run the business, and we provide the financing and the advice. That's a $25 million business. We buy life insurance policies when someone passes away, because you usually have to wait about 45 to 60 days to get paid.
Oh, so you'll fund it immediately minus a little interest or whatever.
Correct.
Okay.
And, and then it's a great business. We're really happy with it. It's going to hit the Inc. 500 fastest growing companies this year.
Oh, shit, dude.
It'll be my second company that will be on that. Not Financing Solutions. I had another one that was on that. And so that's another business. I own the building, of course.
Yeah.
Business in itself. And then I own a company that's been going on for years. It's called Credential Agent. It's software that's in the cloud that helps companies store and manage employee credentials. I don't do a lot with that business anymore, but it still produces revenue and, do those things. So, going back to Financing Solutions, let me answer your question because I think it's important. When I had healthcareseeker.com, which is one of my companies, travel nurse business, we went from 1 million to 3 million to 5 million to 7 million.
Right.
In what was it, 5 years or something like that.
And what time frame was this?
So that was 2000. I wish I should memorize these notes. It was like 2000. These years. It was like 2000 and no wait,
That's when I
2000.
originally met you. You were running.
2003, I think it
Yeah.
was.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like around that. Yeah, around that. 2003, and so I had this huge jump in revenue. Well, anyway, I had a $650,000 line of credit with the bank.
Okay.
Right, and we're doing great. We really are. But I had to use my line of credit because I had 108 something like that employees, and we had nurses out on payroll and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I was at 550 on my line, and I knew at some point I was gonna have to go and ask for it to get increased. And so my team goes out and they place a whole bunch of nurses all at once.
Okay.
And my
Sounds
payroll is going to go over the 650. And I call up my bank. I talk to my mentor. He goes, "Oh, don't worry. Just call your bank. You're doing great. They're going to give you the money, blah, blah, blah." So I call up the bank and I go, "I need to increase my line of credit. And I have payroll coming up in 2 weeks." And I called them up and they go, "Well, we're going to be able to let you know, but it's going to take about 2 months."
good.
And I'm like, I'm in the business of providing nurses who don't really know me exactly. They're not going to say
Wait.
okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be $40,000 short on payroll.
Oh my God.
And so I'm like, oh no. And my family doesn't have the money. Um, I ended up, so I call up my payroll company and I told them what's going to happen. And they go, "We'll give you the money." Right?
Your payroll company.
My payroll company gave me the money. The guy was like he was actually a competitor to me, but he let me put my nurses on his payroll too. So he kind of like was running the separate business on the side, which was real smart. And and so he gave me the money. I paid him back in I think 9 days, or something like that. So and he charged me he goes, "Just charge me prime, whatever. You do whatever you want. I don't really care."
Wow, that's great money.
Nice guy.
Why would he do that favor to you?
Well, I think he wanted to keep me. I think he saw me as one of his first clients for a business model.
Gotcha.
He wanted to make sure I was staying on top. But he knew me for a lot of years.
Yeah.
So he did that. I think and so anyway, the reason why I bring that story up because I know what it's like to not have a cash backup plan.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I think I do for a living. I provide a cash backup plan. And if you haven't worked with banks, they are impossible to work with. They want 100% collateral. They want a 700 greater credit score or 680 or greater credit score. They want everything. And they take their time. And it for a small business, you don't have collateral. You don't have all this other stuff.
Right.
If you did, in some cases, you'd be using it.
Yeah, no, it's totally true. But what about the flip side? Like, if people get access to easy money, like, what if that guy didn't give you the 40 grand? What if?
Yeah.
Would you run your business differently? I just find there's always a flip side, and I see some people get easy money and then they have no control and they actually worsen their situation. Well, I think it's wonderful what you're doing. I'm just saying there's a flip side.
Well, I think you're right. I just haven't seen. I mean, I haven't seen the idea. Do people use my line of credit to expand their businesses? I haven't seen it.
What's a good use of a line of credit? When you give a line of credit, what's a good use of it?
Like, emergency situations.
Okay.
Yeah, it really is. I'm going to miss payroll. I have to, we do a lot of business with nonprofits. So, they have issues with funding coming in late. So a roof on their place needs to be, it has an emergency. There's a leak. They don't have the money. So it really is for emergency type of uses.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Where'd you get the money? Like, you as the financier,
yes.
Where'd that money come from?
Over the years, there's a couple things I did really smartly. I not only bought the building that, 10,000 square foot building, and I bought it for $150,000.
Dude, if people saw that building, it is gorgeous. I think you have one of the marquee buildings in our little town of Booton.
Yeah.
That one in the Maxfield's up the street a little bit.
Yeah. And, so that brought me assets that I could leverage. And then also I really, as beautiful as that building is, you've never seen my home. My home is gorgeous. And I renovated we completely renovated.
Dude, I'm going to invite myself over now.
You're invited after coronavirus. So yeah. It has 162 windows in it.
What?
Yeah. So, and every window, like a lot of the windows are different shapes. So I live in a community I live on a small lake. And we bought the house for $378,000. Wow. And then we put in like $600,000 into it.
Wow.
And so every window has a view of the vision was to bring the outside in.
I love it.
Yeah. And so every window in the place is like a little piece of artwork, and it's beautiful. It's a lot of different shapes, and and it looks like a modern ski lodge because the way it looks like a Stickley museum, really. Anyway, what I learned at the age of 40 was that I have I wish. I'm 55 now. What I learned was that I have a photographic memory with visual images, and I can take an image in my head and I can turn it around like a CAD drawing and see all the possibilities.
Oh.
And I didn't know I had it. I had severe dyslexia when I was a kid.
Okay.
And one of the outcomes, the benefits of many people with dyslexia is that they're visual learners.
Okay.
And I didn't know that was a super what my kids would say, not super skill. A
superhero
skill.
Superpower. Yeah.
That's how old we are.
Yeah, exactly.
Me anyway. So yeah. So what I've seen, in fact, I tried to make a business out of that skill set, because I believe as an entrepreneur, if you can take something that you are naturally good at, a gift, and combine that into a business, you have a leg up.
Boom.
Yeah. Like, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start growing really big pumpkins.
Nice. Yeah. And I suck at that. So tell me about, so you have the asset of the building, you have your home. So this is your actual money that you're lending.
Yes.
See, that's
my money and my business partner's money. So
but
both of us.
For the lender, for me, it feels like, it's institutional. It's like it's some bank, it's some no-name credit card company, right. But it's actually your personal cash.
Yeah.
I don't know why I never understood that.
Yeah. Well, I just happen to do a nice job of making money and saving it. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a very great saver, but the assets have helped. The ability to leverage assets have helped.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is I don't have a super, super expensive personal life. I don't buy expensive diamonds, expensive cars.
You renovate your house for $600,000 though.
Yeah, but but that was an asset. So
sure. Okay. Yeah. So what does it mean to leverage an asset?
So it allows me to go to a bank, and say, I have this asset. It's worth $1.2 million. The equity in it is worth, $500,000.
Okay.
It means that's the mortgage minus the value of the home or whatever, the building.
Okay.
And the bank says, oh, okay, well, we'll give you either this loan or we'll give you this line of credit.
Okay.
And I
leverage up to $500,000 or whatever to protect themselves.
Correct.
So when your company lends out money to businesses, what size tranches are you lending out?
So it's the average line of credit we put out is $50,000.
Okay.
And it can go up as high as $100,000.
Okay.
But they're not taking out 50. They're taking out, well, they can, but they're taking out 20 or 30,000 or something like that, and they're paying.
They pay it back and take it out.
The reason the business works is because they don't keep it out for a very, very long period of time. they keep it out for, 6 weeks, and then they pay it back. And so, I'm able to continue to leverage, giving it to other people.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how does that line of credit work? If I get a line of credit through your company, do I have an actual bank account, or I have to call the company and you guys wire me a check?
You log into a customer portal, or you
Okay.
can call us, or you can email us. You'll say, I need $10,000. I need it today. We wire it right into your account. You have it. And then you, every week there's a minimum payment, very small, that you make.
Which basically is the interest it maintains.
Well, yeah. Well, the first 4 weeks, there's no fees. So, and what I mean by that is, so we take so let's say you want $5,000. I will wire you $4,750, and then there's no fees for 4 weeks. And then
I got to pay you back $5,000.
Correct.
Okay,
and then
so
after
that's
that,
where you make your money.
Right. After 4 weeks, then we charge you $97 a week for every week that it's still out. And, I really it sounds expensive.
Yeah.
If you run the numbers, but it really, there's no fees to get the line set up. There's no fees to
there's no time, which is a big expense, right?
It's huge. It's a big deal. Everybody should have one. I'm shocked when someone says, no, I'm not going to do it. I think, my business partner thinks that, some people look at the money and they say, I don't want to get it because I'm afraid I might use it.
Right. Well, okay. So that's my gut instinct.
Yeah.
Is I may use it the wrong way, is I think what they're saying.
Yeah. But we don't see that, We
really don't. And it is quote unquote expensive, but if it's managed well from my side, being a client of yours, and it's $200 for something that handles an emergency, that's a good investment.
Yeah.
If I live off of that, and people do that with credit cards all the time, right?
Yes.
They have credit card debt that just lives on forever. It's burying them.
Yeah.
And
I'm not saying I don't have clients like that, but it's not a lot.
Okay. How do you know because you can get screwed. This is your personal money. You lend me money. I'm like, sorry, Steve, I'm out of here. How do you protect you?
Well, by the amount that we charge, okay, we could not do the business if we didn't charge what we charge. Okay, we're not sitting there making unbelievable amounts of money. It's a good business, but it's not over the top. And so let me give you an example. My competitors are On Deck, Cabbage, Blue Vine. Those are some of my competitors. So they were out there charging between 19 and 28%. But they have the same default rates that we have.
Gotcha.
So what's happened now with the virus is we were just waiting for a recession, because we knew the recession was going to knock those people out.
They're not making enough money, or why?
So On Deck, Cabbage, Blue Vine, all these other companies are not providing any loans now. They're done.
Oh.
Okay. And the reason being is that they were funded by banks.
Okay.
And they were funded by investors. And now the investors are like, wait a minute, where's my money?
Yeah.
And wait, it's going to really come to roost, because not only do they stop getting funded, but they now they're going to lose a lot of their capital.
Why is that?
Because businesses, I think the recession is good. This is going to be bad.
Yeah. Oh, talk to me. Okay. So, dude, this is the stuff I wanted to talk about. So what's coming our way? Why is it going to be bad? I think so too.
It's, for me, it's because I've been through it before.
Yeah.
It's really, I wish I'm not a financial guru by any means.
Right.
So it's just, I've been through this before. It's going to get really nasty. You're going to have lots of businesses declare bankruptcies. You're going to have, I was really happy when I heard the other day that the feds are predicting only a 9% unemployment rate for the next couple of years. I was like, oh, that's not so bad. 9% is not that bad.
Thank God, yeah.
But it's just, you're talking about just a lot of industries are just really, people are not going to be spending tons of money anymore.
Yeah.
4 out of $5 is consumer related. People are going to be unemployed. They're not going to be spending a lot of money. The whole PPP program right now and the unemployment extra $600 is going to be running out.
Yeah.
It's going to get bad.
That's my thought too, is that we are running on fumes. We get this artificial injection of cash, PPP, these different loans. I also think July 15th, now this is broadcasting, I think before that, I'm not sure, but July 15th, I think is D-Day for small business. July 15th is when taxes are due now. So the April 15th taxes got delayed till July 15th, federal. The June 15th got delayed to July 15th. And I think small businesses blown that money. Like, oh, it's free money. I don't pay my taxes this year. And then July 15th is going to come. The government's going to go, where the F is my money? And people are going to say, and then the government ain't such a nice, everyone thinks the government's nice, handing out these PPP loans. The government is going to punch us in the face over and over. And I think it's going to be a calamity. That's my fear.
Yeah. Well, listen, let me tell you some insider information. Okay. So I don't know what you're going to think of this yet. I mean, you tell me what you think of this, but so our clients that have our lines of credit,
yeah,
they're not using their line of credit at all.
Why?
Like for the last 2 months because they all got PPP money.
Oh, yeah.
That's one thing. And then the second thing is, I think the decisions that we made in certain verticals that we're heavily in, they are it goes back to what I was saying before. People use the money smartly.
Yeah.
And I really think that a lot of the people that have our line of credit are making the right decision to not use their line of credit now. And I think it's because we picked the right type of businesses. We had some businesses, yes, that are essential, that are doing very, very well.
Yeah.
We have other clients that we're right in due diligence. We were like, we're not going into this area because it's too risky. Like, for example, we don't work with transportation companies, like trucking companies.
Too risky? That's too risky?
It's very risky.
Why is it so risky?
There's a history in trucking companies where they think paying bills is optional.
Yeah.
There's a couple of verticals like that, right? And they just think, oh, well, I'm just not going to pay that bill. I don't care.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, we seem to have been, the verticals that we picked were very, very smart. Whereas, like, for example, going back to On Deck, they were heavily involved in the restaurant business.
Oh yeah, done.
They're done, right? I mean, I think they said 1 out of every 4 restaurants is going to be is out of business within 12 months, which sounds awfully low to me.
1 out of 12?
4.
In Boonton here, I think half of them are going to be shuttered. There's that one right across from our building, which is the new taco place. They're done.
Yeah, they were done before the coronavirus.
They were done beforehand, but maybe it's a blessing.
Yeah.
Boonton's overstaffed with it, but with restaurants, I think Sharky's, which is actually a popular restaurant, is going to struggle. So I'm really concerned about that industry. I'm concerned for my business about my client's business. So, in Profit First Professionals, which we have in your building, we service accountants. We have 450 accountants. I am talking with my accountants regularly saying, how are your clients doing? Because my sense is they lose their clients 60 days later or 30 days later, they're not getting paid. That means 30 days after that, I'm not getting paid. That's how I'm trying to predict it. And right now, it's starting to get a little shaky. The thing with accountants is everyone has to get PPP loans or is trying to still. So that gave them a lot of work. And taxes aren't due till July 15th. So there's all this tax work that's still happening. But then July 16th, all the tax work's done. I'm just super scared about that time.
It depends on the only thing I would be worried about with your business is, do the people who use Profit First, your clients,
yeah,
do they feel that your service is invaluable to them?
Yeah, that's
right.
The question.
What do you think?
Here's what I think. The people who've done Profit First think it's invaluable. The people who haven't done Profit First can't see the value.
Oh yeah, well you're not going to get any new clients.
I'm not getting new clients.
No.
But people so we get emails in saying this has saved my business. This has saved my business. I don't know if there's enough. So we estimate 350,000 companies have implemented Profit First. A portion of them hire my accountants. That keeps me going. I don't know if we need the active new demand, and that's my fear.
Well, let me tell you something that I learned with Healthcare Seeker. Okay. So Expert Seeker was a great company, really made very profitable for me. And you know, I wrote a book, and I wrote a chapter in this book, which is, I'm very proud of the chapter I wrote. It talks about all the business I did and when I, some situations. I don't make this long. Expert Seeker. When the trade towers fell, which I was in your office,
I know,
and I saw the smoke in the sky from the towers. I remember to this day, crystal clear, beautiful sky and smoke going right across the horizon. Right?
What did you feel like when you saw that?
Like everyone feels like right now, a deer in a headlight.
Yeah.
You don't really know, but in fact, that was different. Like I didn't really know it was like I had people starting to walk in. I had like 20 people working for me at the time, right? Yeah. And I had people coming in. They're like, they came in. They were like, oh, a plane flew into the towers. I'm like, all right, whatever, get to work, right? I thought it was a passenger plane, right? I didn't know,
a little Cessna or something,
thing, right?
Yeah.
And then they keep dropping in. I'm getting more and more information. I'm like, so another person, and I say that, I go, it was a passenger jet. Just, don't worry about it. It's no big deal. She goes, no, it was a 747. I go, a 747?
Yeah.
And I look and I see, I'm seeing the smoke, and so everybody's like starting to really mull around and really, and I said, all right, stop. Everybody, let's go to Heavenly Temptations. She had like, 4 TVs.
Yeah.
We all went down there. We were all watching it, and we watched the first tower fall together.
Yeah.
And girls were crying. People were crying because of people, and it was like that. Anyway, at that point, I knew it was over for my business, for that business, because we had gone from 1 million to 3 million to 5 million to 6 million. But then it was the year 2000. And the business I was in was placing consultants partly to address the year 2000 problem, and work was starting to go overseas. So we went from 6 million the year before. For the first time ever, I went down to 5 million in revenue. And I was like, this is it. And when those planes hit, I said, that's it. They're not going to be using consultants anymore, because I knew that we were going to go into a recession. So a month later, I let go 95% of my staff.
My gosh.
Yeah. And I just blew up the company. It still went on for 5 years.
Really?
Yeah. And then I started looking for another business, which was Healthcare Seeker.
Yeah.
Healthcare Seeker, same growth path, incredible. Inc. 500, fast going, went way up. And I really loved the company. I really had gathered this team.
Yeah.
I just really knew what I was doing. I was a much better business owner at this point.
Yeah.
And I was hiring the right people. I built the right culture. I loved my team. And we've gone up to 7 million, and we were on our way to doing over 10 million. And at that point, I was going to sell. Okay.
Have you sold a business before?
For peanuts.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the biggest. That's the
fact the fact you sold a company. That's awesome.
Yeah, believe me, it was like $200,000 or $300,000, which is a
dude. I'll take it. I bet you half people listening to this would take it in a heartbeat.
Well, anyway, it's the one thing I haven't done. Yeah. I would like to do it. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but anyway, we'll see. But anyway, Healthcare Seeker, I did the complete opposite.
Yeah,
I did let go like a few people, but I really, really liked the business, and I said, hey, if I can keep getting better at what I'm doing, keep my team together, on the back end, a recession typically lasts 18 months. I said, okay, I have the runway, I have the money, I can make this. Okay, no big deal. Let me tell you what happened. 2 things. The first thing is that recession, as we all know, went on for 3-4 years, right? Yeah. But this is another thing, Mike. The recession in my business, in my industry, went on for 6 years. So there's a
Yeah.
global recession, and then there's a recession in your business.
Interesting.
So I don't think that there's going to be the people get rid of their accountants. The last thing you do is you get rid of your accountant.
That's true.
Right? And the first thing you do is bring on an accountant later on when
Right. When you're coming back.
Yeah, so it's going to be tough, but this is my lesson in this. A recession lasts 2 to 3 times longer than you think it does. So right now in your head, Mike, and everybody else out there, is you need to say to yourself, what happens to me if this lasts 2 or 3 times longer than I think it does? Because I tell you the truth, that wasn't what I thought. And I thought, okay, I just need to handle this for another maybe 18 months to 2 years.
Sure.
Right? So in my own business, Financing Solutions, we let people go 3 weeks ago.
Because you actually noticed the impact. People stopped taking loans.
Yes.
And you think this is going to last for your business 3 times longer than?
Yeah. And there's a lot of things going on right now that we think is really going to hurt. People aren't going to, because we're not going to be able to, we're still providing lines of credit, but you got to be a good business.
Yeah. And you got to be real careful now.
Yeah.
Because if someone borrows money and then they go down.
That's right.
It's hard to recover.
Yeah. It's really hard.
I presume your business actually thrives in a booming economy because businesses are on an uptick. They borrow money and maybe they're not running it prudently, but they can handle the cash flow. And hopefully they are running it prudently.
Yes.
But even if they're running it really smart and we're in a recession. So what's your next move?
So we did the smart decision. We really cut our expenses huge down, right? Everybody's now working out of their house.
Yeah.
I moved out of the building because I was paying myself rent out of my own building.
It's if nothing else, it's an asset you're not utilizing.
Right. Yeah. So we really cut everything back. Now keep in mind that we really think that our competitors are not going to provide funding.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. So that's good. And a huge line item for me is the cost of acquiring clients. So
really?
Advertising is really a huge expense for us. It's very expensive for me to acquire a client. So if, with my competitors not there, it's going to bring it down. So, my guess really, I think a year from now, we will start really growing again. And so, Mike, I'm honestly the busiest I've ever been in my life right now. And part of it has to do, yes, with the idea of moving everybody out of the offices and me moving and setting up in my house and getting everything. It's been challenging, but I'm spending all my time right now making sure that our website and our articles and everything that we're doing for what's called search engine optimization, which is how Google finds you. I have 1 year to really build our company up so that Google allows people, when they're typing something into Google, they can find us easily. And Did
you just say the Google? Did you say when people type into the Google?
It's like the monopoly, yes.
Yeah, don't say the Google.
Yeah,
that's SEO 101.
Yeah, but the Google's been, I've been the Google guy for like 15 years. My skill set is lead generation, the ability to get people coming to us. That's my skill set.
Yeah. I think when people listen to this, some people will come to you just because it's refreshing to hear there's a real guy. It's not Cabbage to me is a bank or whatever, but you're a real guy. And I don't know why it didn't click. I knew it was your money, but I didn't like you're actually invested in these businesses. I don't know. To me, there's something different there. It is,
especially because we'll listen to a story.
Yeah.
We'll listen to, okay, so, kind of tell me now listen, don't get me wrong. You need to have a 650 or better credit score.
Yeah.
Okay. You need to have that, right? Some businesses we'll go down to 620, but it's a certain vertical that we pick and stuff like that, right? Listen, you need to be for a business over $400,000 in revenue. All right.
Sure.
We're not putting money into startups and stuff like that. I mean, that's 400,000 is not much really. But yeah, I mean, but we're looking at other things and we're making a determination based on 25 years of our experience. My business partner is super smart. And we're looking at a business saying, that's a good business.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what other companies don't do. I think that's what's cool. Stephen Halasnik, where can our listeners find out more about financing solutions?
So go to fscreditline.com. Okay. And that's FS is in financing solutions, fscreditline.com. You can go there. You can find out tons of, good information. We will give you a free quote. We do not check your credit score.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So you'll get a quote. It'll be in writing. Someone will call you and go over the quote with you. If you want to move forward, then what we ask for is bank statements, tax returns, or 990s if you're a nonprofit, driver's license, voided check, and
you're a smart marketer. Should people use a code or something from listening to this podcast?
Yeah, we put Mike in. Put Mike in there.
M-I-K-E, Mike.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and then we'll kind of know it's from you.
Yeah, that's great. So you'll know, and I don't know if that'll afford you besides that they came from the show, and you're like, we can't lend money to friends of mine. Steve, what's the website one more time?
It's fscreditline.com.
Stephen, thank you so much.
Thanks, Mike. Good luck to you.
You too. Be well.
I'll see you.